I know I'm going to get dragged for this one, but it is what it is. The victim of the infidelity is not always the victim of the marriage or the relationship. I'll take that again for avoidance of doubt. The victim of the infidelity is not always the victim of the relationship. Francis, what the hell do you mean by that? Hear me out. Sometimes, and in some cases, the partner who has stepped outside of the relationship to have an affair was simply looking for something missing in the relationship, to which the partner who was cheated on has either refused vehemently to provide or has just refused to acknowledge the legitimacy of that existing need. Now, oftentimes, whenever infidelity happens in a relationship, the first thing that happens is that all road leads to the person who has erred. And the person is brought in front of the stake and burnt alive. And this person is the villain of the story, no matter the angle you look at it from. But now let's re-examine it together. I want you to imagine a relationship that has been sexless for, say, 5, 6, 7 years. And the partner has their needs. Those needs are not being met. And now somebody comes along with a spark of light, sees this partner for who they are, sees the struggle they've been having in their relationship. And one thing leads to the other. There's an emotional entanglement, and then there's clot offing, bed shaking, battle of tongues and liquid fire, and then eventually sex happens. Now, what we fail to examine is what led us here. Are we just looking at the sex, the affair, as an isolated event? Or are we asking the question, what led this person to step out? What made it an option for this person to go outside to seek? And now, these are the kinds of things that I love to explore whenever couples who have gone through infidelity come for what I call the What Happened program, which is an infidelity recovery program that I personally run. Is that at the end of the day, by the time we begin to get to repair, we start to realize collectively, sometimes, and I say sometimes and in some cases, the person who has been cheated on played a role in opening the door for the affair. Now, this may be very hard to grasp. And like I said when I was starting, I may get dragged for this, but I really, really don't care because it is what it is and we need to start to talk about it. So, in this kind of case, what really happens? The first question that needs to be answered in repairing this kind of relationship is to really take the time to find out what did the affair mean for the person who stepped out. And I'll take that again. What did the affair mean for the person who has gone out of the relationship? The moment we begin to attempt to understand what that relationship meant, what this person was seeking for, what exactly necessitated for this person to go outside of the relationship, we stand a better chance of really having a balanced perspective and a very clear road to recovery and to healing. Because for as long as you decide not to beam the light on what really caused the affair and just try as much as possible to make the person who has stepped out to say, I'm sorry, and to go through all the stages of repair, you run the risk of that affair happening all over again because you have not solved at the root. So if you're someone who has been cheated on, watching this video right now, I'm not trying to put the blame on you. There are chances that you may not be responsible for this. But we need to ask the question, what did the affair mean for the person who stepped out of the relationship? If it was nothing, or if it had nothing to do with the person who was cheated on, all well and good. But in order for us to move past the event and everything that has happened, it is very critical that that question is asked and answered, as well as we help to rehabilitate and reintegrate the relationship. Because what we are often looking for in our relationship is a sense of safety, the desire to be loved and to love in return. That's simply what we're looking for. The desire to connect. In some other cases, sexual fantasies not being explored. In other cases, the fear of what could have been. Who could I have been? In some other cases, just the lack of a healthy conflict resolution strategy. In other cases, pent up, built up resentment, and the list goes on and on and on and on and on. Really, in relationships, and I specifically say in affairs, right? The sex, the sexual intimacy is not always the need in most cases. In most cases, the underlying need is intimacy and the desire to connect. Now, while it is true that this person has chosen to go outside of the sacredness and the covenant of the marital relationship, it is also very, very critical and important to ask the question, what did the affair mean for this person who has stepped out of the relationship? And if we're able to answer that question, we stand the chance of rehabilitating the relationship into a better place. Now, if you're someone who has been cheated on, or if you're someone who has even stepped out of this relationship and you fall into the category that I've been discussing in the course of this video, and you need someone to really help you, feel free to reach out to me with the contact right in this video. And I'm more than excited to help you guys walk through this journey. I understand that you have your deal breakers, and I'm by no means trying to ask you to change your deal breakers. All I'm saying is that infidelity should not be the automatic death of a relationship. It doesn't have to be. In some cases, it can be. In some cases, it should be. But it should not be in all cases.